for the next part, this is part 3 of our assignment. We're going to start with some marker exercises. The chart that you're going to make, there are several parts to it. The first one is just discovering what the colors are and writing them all down. We have an excellent array of colors. We can make we have lots of opportunities. There are some that are both light and both dark of the same color. We have a good range of grays, so there's lots we can do with them. Just follow the guidelines on the video and you'll be able to get this all done. Then you need to check out all your black pens. If you have more than these pens, try them as well. See if they will blur, because you need to have a good pen that won't blur on the marker paper. The marker paper is very smooth, very slick, and when you scrub marker over top, anything that's made of alcohol in your black marker is going to blur and smear, and it damages your marker, and they're very expensive, so you want to make sure you don't damage them before you start. Try out everything you've got, and then you're going to start to look at how to make form, develop form. And there are a couple of methods of rendering. There's a partial rendering, which we do with these two yellow cylinders, and then there's also a more finish. Some people prefer to fill everything in and make their value changes more subtle. So that's a version of that. And this one is in between. It's both partial and it's also a bit more blended. So you'll see how to do both of those. And we use the primaries. We develop something with our yellows and with our red and with our blue. And then before that, though, you need to make a template. And this is how large, you can see from my back wall here, how large it has to be. So it needs to be a fair size. Otherwise, it's really extremely hard to practice and play with the markers. So that's your first part. But first, before you start, you're going to make a paper tray for your markers. This seems like an odd thing to do maybe, but it's very important that you organize your workspace when you're working. And we have a lot of markers. So it's very easy, and I show you in the video, but you take a piece of your cartridge paper and you fold it into 3 parts like this. And then you just make an accordion fold. So about a 1/2 inch, this is tiny scale, but about a 1/2 inch in, you start to do this, and then you do this. And you just keep going, and it doesn't take very long. You might need 2 of them. And then you've got these little valleys that you can rest your markers in. And just put a little tick of color, a little square of color down here, so you can keep track of what you've got and where they're going. Just follow the list that I've given in your handout today. We've got our flesh tones at the start. They're all our light markers, our light warm markers. So it kind of progresses from warm to cool. But you need the vertical strokes of gray, so you can see which gray to use with which color. Some overwhelm the color, and they're not proper to use for that particular color, but for others it'll work out just fine. There should always be, when you put gray underneath, there should always be just enough to make it not as bright in the shadow, make it a little darker in the shadow, but not to change the color. The color should remain. Okay, so that you'll have instruction for doing that, and you can see that in this video. Here I am starting to make it, so it's in this first video that you'll see. The next thing we're going to do is to take another look at our thumbnails. This time we're going to try placing color on them, and they're going to change again once you put color on them. The best thing would be to take your detailed pencil line drawing and reduce it on the copier. I have a video, last week I put up video to show you how to use the copy machine here. You'll know how to do that, and you just reduce it to about 6 or 7 inches tall. Start trying your color schemes out. You're going to do 6 different color schemes, but you never stop. You never stop. Mine's a food item, so I'm using warm colors, but you never stop trying to get a better concept, a better design. And I really think now I worked on it some more, and my next thumbnail, my next colored thumb, would be to change where the type is. I didn't like it lining up with my barbell, and put it in a banner over top and free the logo up here. So I think you see everything a little better here. It's a little bit stronger. So you never stop. And I think from what I've seen today, some of you still aren't there with your concept. So you just keep trying, you just keep going, because this is going to be a portfolio piece when we're done. We'll have 3 strong pieces. Our POP, our point of purchase display, our end cap, and then we'll have a perspective to show what both things would look like for the experience for the customer in the store. So there's no point in going ahead with the end cap if you don't have something worthwhile to work for for the second part. This is your job, to make ordinary things seem extraordinary. Everybody's product was ordinary. So if you're stuck on you didn't like your product, then you got to get over that, because you can't pick and choose your clients, especially when you're starting out. Excitement is what you bring. That's what you bring. You don't look for it. You don't look to find it. You don't be disappointed when it's not there. That's what you bring. That's your job. You just have to find a way in. And you do that using metaphor, as we looked at in the beginning weeks. Try to find something that would appeal to your target audience. I discovered after I had done 12 of these that I still hadn't touched my target audience. I had imagery now that I wanted to work with, but I hadn't gone anywhere near my target audience. So that flipped things up again for me. That's why we're keeping everything really small, so that it's just a second to change it, to make it better. Really rethink your stuff and do something that will take us through to some really good pieces toward the end. We're going to delay our rendering of the large piece. We're going to keep working on our concepts and our designs. We're going to render all 3 things at the end. So we'll be doing lots of rendering exercises. We've done 2 of our in-class assignments. We have 5 more left. Those are broken up between the next 2 assignments. Those, I think, we'll do lots of rendering exercises, because it takes a little bit of time to get used to the markers, and we do want to have some good pieces by the end. Use your large marker paper, your 11 by 14 inch marker paper. Work at the sizes that I've given you, and mount it all up on the cartridge paper. So these are the 2 things to look at.